Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. 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 Go to Tracy Brown Live.
Hello and everyone. Good morning. Hello and everyone. Good morning. Hello and everyone. Good morning. I don't know what's going on here, but why am I not surprised? Hello again, everyone. This is the beginning of Mercury retrograde. Hello again, everyone. This is the beginning of Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde begins December 13th. And the first thing we have with Mercury retrograde is electronic issues. So, hello, Mercury. Have a seat. You and I are going to get along. We are not going to have problems on December 13th through January 1st. We are not going to communicate poorly with people. When the exes come back, we are not going to see it as love. We're going to see it as a draw and a pull from the universe. It doesn't mean it's a good thing, people. When an ex comes back, remember how it ended. That will save your life and your emotional health. If it ended badly, and I mean really badly, do not accept the ex's apologies or accept it but continue on by yourself. When an ex comes back during Mercury retrograde, the breakup is inevitable again, except that the breakup hurts worse the second time. Mercury makes people communicate, makes people open up, makes people apologize. It doesn't change the personality of the person. So be very, very mindful because this Mercury retrograde is on fire. And you don't want to mess with fire. Fire burns. Fire burns things down. And that means communications will be based upon winning. So for this Mercury retrograde, we're going to be passive and receptive. We're going to listen to people whether we agree or not. We're going to study people. We're going to study our coworkers, study our friends, study our families, study our spouses, and don't leave those children out. Study your children. And when it's over, which will be January 1st, but to be safe, January 7th, whatever changes need to be had, break those walls down and make the changes. Because whatever you observed was observed for a reason. But if you go into the game with Mercury retrograde, acting like, oh, hell no, nobody talks to me this way, nobody treats me this way, nobody does me this way, you're actually going to lose. And you will lose very big. You've been warned. Let's get into the book, guys. We are on page 138. Um, I'm going to go back to 137 and I'm going to start with that is, and this is Neil talking to God. And Neil says, that is the second time in this book you seem to have launched a frontal attack on fundamentalist Christianity. And Neil goes, I am surprised. And God says, you have chosen the word attack. I am simply engaging the issue. And the issue, by the way, is not fundamentalist Christianity, as you put it. It is the entire nature of God and of God's relationship to man. The question comes up here because we were discussing the matter of obligations in relationships and in life itself. You cannot believe in an obligationless relationship because you cannot accept who and what you really are. You call a life of complete freedom spiritual anarchy. I call it God's great promise. It is only within the contents of this promise that God's great plan can be completed. You have no obligation in relationship. You only you have only opportunity. Listen to this, everyone. You have no obligation in relationship. You have only opportunity. Opportunity, not obligation, is the cornerstone of religion, the basis of all spirituality. So as long as you see it the other way around, you've missed the point. Relationship, your relationship to all things, was created as your perfect tool in the work of the soul. It's why all human relationships are sacred ground. It is why every personal relationship is holy. In this, many churches have it right. Marriage is a sacrament, but not because of its sacred obligation, rather because of its unequaled opportunity. Never do anything in a relationship out of a sense of obligation. Do whatever you do out of a sense of the glorious opportunity your relationship affords you to decide and to be who you really are. Well, there you go. How many people have been in a relationship because they believe what their pastor has told them? Although, trust me, I'm not blaming pastors. I could give two shits about pastors right now today. Or what your mama told you, that you must cook for a man. You must. You must clean. You must have sex with him. And for men, you must get out there and work. What about house husbands? What about men who want to stay home? What if his obligation to a relationship has shifted because he has children and he wants to stay home? My ex husband called himself Mr. Mom, and guess what? He had a right to do it. I was suffering from postpartum. I thought my kid was the cutest kid on this earth. I didn't want to touch him, I didn't want to hold him. But I passed by his crib and I looked at that adorable baby and I said, "You are cute." And I went to sleep, forgetting the mother role that was supposed to come instinctually. I never understood my obligation. I had to grow out of postpartum, and I mean grow, in order for me to recognize, hey, you're a mother. Tick tock. Time's up. Time to be a mommy. The whole time, my husband was calling himself Mr. Mom, and he had every right to do so. And I'm very proud of him for looking at me and picking up the weight. And so he cooked for me, cooked for the baby, made the bottles, cleaned, got advice from my mom and his mom. And he did this for 3 months. Because I didn't understand the word obligation. I was like, fuck that. Back in the day, by the way, 34 years ago, no one knew what postpartum was. And postpartum is worse for people that have C-sections. I had a C-section. No one knew I needed mental health counseling called postpartum. Yeah, yeah. Y'all lucky I didn't read this book 34 years ago, because I might have stayed out longer in my state of being. I might have said, yeah, you take over because you're doing a great job. I might let you be Mr. Mom. I'll go out and work for the family. But the era was different back then. There was no such thing as Mr. Mom. At the time, it was a stupid movie. But it was a movie that came just in time for my ex-husband to pick up on the fact that maybe he needed to act like that movie character. And he read the memo that God sent him, and he did what he was supposed to do, and he did right by his son. I can't say he did right by me, because I'm not giving him that much credit, but he definitely did right by his son. I mean, he did cook for me, but at the time he was also cheating, so whatever, dude. I'll give you a little credit, and you did right by your son. And that is what I'm thanking you for. Never do anything in relationship out of a sense of obligation. Do whatever you do out of the sense of the glorious opportunity your relationship affords you to decide and to be who you really are. And once I got over my postpartum, the one thing I wanted to be was a mom, and I dove in. I adored my son. I had to get out of a mental space that I didn't even invite. I didn't walk into a room and pick a package of, you know, pregnancy, C-section, and postpartum. It was thrust upon me without any medical intervention. But once I came out of it, which took about 3 months, and for some people it could be longer, I'm grateful that it only took 3 months. And once I came out of it, what I realized was, yeah, yeah, I want to be a really good mom. And that was nice. I also remember being such a good mom. Toot my horn. The first 3 months were rough, but again, I'm not owning that. I'm not owning a mental space that nobody could help me with. It is what it is. But I used to had a home that was we were leasing to own, and my front door was somebody else's side of the house. And I used to come home every day once I started working because I had to go back to work. I used to come home every day and feed my son on the stoop, we called it in New York City, but I was living in Jersey. Feed my son on the stoop, the porch, and talk to him and play with him and laugh with him. And I loved that. I loved the moment when I came out of postpartum and entered into motherhood. It was glorious to feel that. And one day, my neighbor came up to me and she had a grown son, and he was like maybe 22, 23. And she said, I want to thank you. She says, every day my son is in his bedroom window watching you. Brings me tears. And she said, because of all the relationship issues that I had, that he saw, he had vowed never to have children. And she told me, watching you every day has changed his opinion. And I was like, that was the first time I recognized that me as a person, my being, who I am, the relationship that I had taken on with my son when he was still just a newborn. He must have been 4 months tops. That's when I realized that I can change people's perceptions. And it might have been from that point that if I helped him, he helped me. Imagine if I did something purposely to help change people. This was accidental. Imagine if I used my life to help people on purpose. And from that point on, I figured out ways to do that. Even if it's the smallest of gestures. Even if I tell somebody, that is the prettiest hairstyle I've seen in a while. And I've done that, and I've had people say to me, no one ever gives me a compliment. Huh. Okay, back to the book. Oh, child. And Neil goes, I can hear that. By the way, Neil bothers me, but I'm trying to be patient with Neil. I am not God. Oh, child. Neil bothers me. And Neil goes, I can hear that, yet over and over in my relationships, I have given up when the going gets tough. The result is that I've had a string of relationships where I thought as a kid that I'd have only one. I don't seem to know what it's like to hold on to a relationship. Do you think I will ever learn? What do I have to do to make it happen? Side note, I don't think we have to hold on to a relationship because I think that we forget that other people have free will. I think if something changes in relationships, stopping the change is what is bringing on the aggravation. If something changes in your relationship, let the change occur. Don't take it personally. Allow the person to make all the necessary changes for their soul and for their soul's growth. And the best that you can do when somebody begins to change is let them. Boom. Hold on, guys. Be able to take this smell. Nope, nope, nope. All right. Clean that up later. Let me just say hi to everyone before I continue on because apparently this is going to be a good Sunday. We started off really good about relationships, and I'm excited. All right, so, okay, so let me say hello to Rhonda. Hi, Rhonda. Ayana, good health. Bree, happy Sunday morning, beautiful and blessed souls, miracles and blessings to all, and may they all come back to you, Bree. Stacy, hello, good people. Hello, Stacy. Hope you enjoyed tarot class yesterday. Let me see. Mother of Brats. Hey, Grand Rising, and good health to you too. All right, let's get back into the book. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. I'm very, very proud of you. You know why I'm proud of you? Because it takes discipline to listen. It takes discipline to listen to a podcast, especially a podcast on spirituality. If you here, it's because you really, really want to be here. Oh, thank you, Stacy. That makes me feel good. Thank you for saying you were to a tarot class. All right, 138, which is where we were supposed to start from the beginning, but sometimes I have to go back to come forward. So it's okay to go back. And Neil says, oh, and God says, so what I said to you about relationship was me. This is what God says. You make it sound as if holding on to a relationship means it's been a success. Try not to confuse longevity with a job well done. Uh oh. Uh oh. Remember, your job on the planet is not to see how long you can stay in a relationship, it's to decide and experience who you really are. That has to be confusing for most people, side note. I think most people don't know who they are. I think most people are very successful and still don't know who they are. I think most people are doing robotic lifestyles, not loving lifestyles. All right? I think longevity in a relationship is something we all strive for. But I'd hate to think that I stayed in a goddamn relationship with a jackass of a man. That ain't happening. Dunzo. I don't want to brag that, I've been married 20 years. Because I know if I would have stayed with my husband, it would have been 20 years of a fucked up situation and the things my son would have seen if we had stayed together. I wasn't giving him that power over my life. I took my power back. And I understood that being a single mom 34 years ago was a detriment in society's eyes. And I said, fuck it, I'm a single mom. You make it sound as if holding on to a relationship, back to the book, means it's been a success. Try not to confuse longevity with a job well done. Remember, your job on a planet is not to see how long you can stay in relationships. It's to decide and experience who you really are. This is not an argument for short term relationships, neither is there a requirement for a long term relationship. Still, while there is no such requirement, this should be said: long term relationships do hold remarkable opportunities for mutual growth, mutual expression, mutual fulfillment, and that has its own reward. The word mutual is important here. Mutual growth, mutual expression, mutual fulfillment, and that has its own reward. And Neil goes, I know, I mean, I've always suspected that, so how do I get there? And God says, first, make sure you get into a relationship for the right reasons. I'm using the word right here as a relative term. I mean right relative to the larger purpose you hold in your life. So, as an example of a right this is just an example, people, as a right relationship, when we look at the gays and we want to judge the gays, and they are in a relationship that's right for them, let's stop looking at the gays. Let's start saying, oh, that relationship is good for you. Okay, got it. What coffee do you want? You want coffee? You're going to order a turkey sandwich? Do you see what I mean? Have a good day. I believe that you have chosen the right relationship for you. I believe that. As I have indicated before, says God, most people still enter relationships for the wrong reasons. They end it, they enter it to end loneliness, to fill a gap, brings themselves love or someone to love, get a pet. And those are some of the better reasons. Those are some of the better reasons. Loneliness, good reason, fill a gap, have someone to love, get a dog. And those are some of the better reasons, says God. Others do so to salve their ego, end their depression, improve their sex life. Hello? Hello? Do we get into relationships just for sex in 2023? We fucking do. We fucking do. When we meet someone, the first thing we want to do when we quasi like them, we don't even know if we like someone. Quasi like them. What's the 3 date rule? There's no such thing as a 3 date rule. When I was growing up, it was at least 3 months. What's the 3 date rule? The 3 date rule is to get to sex because we crave sex more than love. We believe that the pounding of rawness is what we need, but we have equated the act of penetration or entering as love. And when you fall that quickly for a penis or a vagina, you're going to get back up and you might not like yourself. Or for women, which I can only talk for women because I come from a place of womanhood. When we have sex too early, everything else is wrapped around the event. Love, kindness, caring, just to get the event again. And a lot of times, depending upon your age bracket, we need the event a lot. And I'm not talking about a little 15-year-old. I mean, a 55-year-old needs it a lot because we're so afraid of not being loved that when you finally get it, you don't want it to stop. But it also can be a turnoff for your partners because at some point they get you're using me, and then you wonder why they leave. Am I going like a little bit above people's heads? I don't know. Help me. I'll slow it down. The words won't change, but I can sure slow it down. Others do it to save their ego and their relationships, improve their sex life, recover from a previous relationship, or believe it or not, to relieve boredom. None of these reasons will work unless something dramatic changes along the way. Neither will their relationships work. And Neil goes, who refuses to understand God in any way. Okay, I just need to cuss Neil out for a minute. I've never seen anybody be so dense. If I were married to Neil, my relationship would end with you too. I have to be honest. I just got to be honest here. I would be like, I gotta go. I can't be with stupid. And I'm not calling you stupid, Neil, because you wrote this whole book and made all this income. You made 5 of these books, and no way are you stupid. Just dense. And I could care less how many books you wrote and how much money you brought in from the book. I can't stand anybody that doesn't get it ever. All right, I'm being mean. I'm done with my meanness. Back to the book. And Neil says, I didn't enter in my relationships for any of those reasons. And God says, I would challenge that. I don't think you know why you entered your relationships. I don't think you thought about it in this way. I don't think you entered your relationship purposefully. I think you entered your relationships because you fell in love. And Neil goes, that's exactly right. All right, Neil. And then God goes, and I don't think you stopped to look at why you fell in love. What was it to which you were responding? What need or sets of needs was being fulfilled? For most people, love is a response to need fulfillment. For most people, love is a response to need fulfillment. Everyone has a need. You need this, another needs that. You both see in each other a chance for need fulfillment. So you agree tactily to a trade. I'll trade you for what I've got if you give me what you've got. Isn't that an interesting concept? I never thought about it that way, but I'm pretty sure I was in a relationship as a trade. You know how I know that I was in a relationship as a trade? Because when things went wrong, I would justify what I needed from the person. When I would see a character flaw, I would justify, well, you know, he can have a sharp tongue, but I like the fact that he brings me over and he cooks for me and we watch movies together. So, because I like that part of the relationship, I'll ignore the part where he constantly puts me down. Yep, that happened until he gets comfortable continuously putting me down. Yep, that happened. And then I challenge him for putting me down. And then I get gaslighted. And then I hear, when have I ever put you down? When have I ever? And you realize the aggressive tone actually makes you forget all the times that he's put you down. And so you can only remember the moment that you're in. And so you just stand on that moment and you're like, well, you just put me down. You just said, because that's all you can remember because he just made your nerves bad. And then the narcissist gaslighter then says to you, so I did it one time and I gotta get crucified for it. And you're like, okay. And then the narcissist gaslighter will then say to you, let's just go out to eat. And eating's your jam? And you're like, okay. When in actuality, you just made him mad because you pointed out something he didn't think you noticed. He thought you were too stupid to notice. But now you cracked the door you should have never opened because now the narcissist gaslight lighter will get worse. All right, back to the book. Most people, for most people, love is a response to need fulfillment. Everyone has a need. You need this, another needs that. You both see it in each other, a chance for need fulfillment. So you agree tactily to a trade. I'll trade you for what I've got if you give me what you've got. It's a transaction, but you don't tell the truth about it. You don't say, I trade you very much. You say, I love you very much. And then the disappointment begins. Yes, and you've done this thing before. And no, and Neil goes, "You made this point before," and God goes, "Yes, and you've done this thing before, not once, but several times. We all have, several times. Sometimes this book seems to be going in circles, making the same points over and over again," says Neil. And God says, "Touche." Why is that? Why is it important to do the same thing, go in circles over and over again? I'll give you a really good example in sports or dance. You cannot have a Michael Jordan or who's that black ballerina? I love her, by the way. Let me see if I can find her name. I love her. Um, Hold on. Black prima ballerina. Oh, Copeland. Yes, Copeland. You can't be a Michael Jordan. You can't be a LeBron. You can't be a Copeland without repetitive movements. What do we do when a little kid um, has interest in, let's say, basketball? I'm not a sports person. We tell the child to throw the hoop in the basket. Oh, you didn't make it. Get the ball again. Do it again. Oh, you didn't make it. Take the ball. Do it again. And the kid learns through sports that repetitive action is what makes you better. That's what makes you better. When you are a little kid and you are 3 years old and you are taking ballet classes, they do the same motions over and over and over for an hour. Do it on the left, do it on the right, do your arms, da da da. Let's do it again. Do it on the left, 10 times, point, bring it back, point, bring it back, turn around, do it 10 times, point, bring it back, point, bring it back. Now let's try the arms and just the arms. Throw your arms up above your head, cuff your hand, and bring it back down to the front, halfway to your waist, bring it up again, bring it down again, bring it up again, bring it down again. We might change it a little, bring it up and now bring it to the side. Bring it back up and bring it to the side. And bring it back up and bring it to the side. And most times the teacher is tapping on something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let's do the right arm. 1, 2, 3. So that's why this book is going in circles. Some of us like to get through the Bible. I say to you today, read the New Testament over and over and over, not the whole Bible. And read the part that only Jesus is living in. Anything after that is personal speculation from the disciples and their personal opinions. It's actually a very small section of the Bible that should matter to you. The book of Mark, the book of this, I don't remember all the books. I'm so far removed now, I apologize, everyone. Read right up until Jesus is resurrected. Because even then, he gives a message for everyone. And when you finish, read it again. Because the second time you read it, you're going to find something new you didn't discover the first time. And when you're done, read it again and again and again and again. And I'm not asking you to be a walking Bible, Jesus thumping. No, I'm asking you to put something inside of you that's better than what's being put inside with everyday, Netflix, everyday Bravo. You will be amazed at repetitive reading of something, repetitive motion of something can just make you an ideal person to be in any relationship, especially if you get to understand that when something changes in a relationship, respect that person that changed. It is not against you. If anything, it's for you. Sit on that. Yeah, sit on that. All right, let me just say hi to Black Coffee No Cream. Hello, Grand Rising and Good Health. Miss Tracy and Chad, hello. And I love the Black Ballerina too. I know. Oh my God, she's amazing. I think I'll watch some videos of her today. On Sundays, I love to watch something from the History Channel. Um, I like to watch, I forgot what channel it's called. I mention it all the time and I always forget what channel it's called. It's that channel that lets us know, I'll find it, why Walmart is collapsing. Let me see if I can find it. I love the History Channel, though, guys. I mean, love it. Let me see. Why is Walmart collapsing? Of course, now I can't find the channel. Hmm. I'm so upset. It's a channel that follows all of these chain stores. It's so good. One Sunday, I watched this channel all day. Oh, Frontline. It's called Frontline PBS. Frontline. Let me make sure. Yes. Guys, if you watch Frontline, they've got so many stories to educate you. Not to make you panic, but to know something is wrong in Tinkertown. Let me see if I can. I don't know why I didn't even press on it. Let me just check. Frontline. Well, Frontline is one of them. Come on. Frontline. There you go. They got so many stories. Frontline is just one of them. It's not just Frontline. Let's see, Frontline. Frontline. All right. This is just one of them. Hold on. So annoying. I'm pretty sure to subscribe to it. Walmart. Frontline is one of them, but there's another channel. All right. If I see it, I'm gonna like go crazy. Walmart closing. Let me see if I can find it real quick, guys. No, damn it. As soon as I leave you all, it's gonna show up on my feed. You know that's gonna happen. Damn. Let me choose another store because they've done all the stores. And I'm telling you, it is fascinating to be educated on why America is changing. Damn it. Nope, it's not showing up for me. The minute I get off this feed, it's going to show up. I'm so pissed. Oh, man. By the way, my algorithms must have changed because what is showing up for me now is total bullshit. Um, Subscribe to Frontline channel. That's the one. That's the one. But there is another one too. It's Frontline PBS. But there's another one. So educational, but I'm not going to be able to find it in in this moment. It's just not showing up. Let's look at one more thing. Walmart closing. The same person keeps showing up. It's so weird. All right, let me get back to the book because this is ridiculous. Let me just see something. Videos. Hold on. Closings. Stores. See, goddamn people keep showing up. Yes. WGN, ABC, CBS. All right. When I find it, I will mention it on Monday because I promise you, I already know it's going to show up. It's going to show up this afternoon when I'm sitting by myself and there's nobody to talk to say, hey, that was the channel. Um, Damn it, it's so annoying. Well, for right now, it's Frontline, but there's a channel that does all of this. They do all the stores, they do all of retail. All right, I'm obsessed now, but I am stopping the show and I need to stop obsessing because it's my need to be right. I'm over it and back to the book. Um, what's it? Okay, I don't think I know. Okay, where am I? Maybe I turned the page. Oh, Neil goes, sometimes his book seems to be going in circles. making the same points over and over again. And God goes, touche. And God says the process here is that you're asking the questions and I'm merely merrily answering them. If you ask the same question three different ways, I'm obliged to continue answering it. Maybe I keep hoping you'll come up with a different answer, says Neil. You take a lot of romance out of it when I ask you about relationships. What's wrong with falling head over heels in love without having to think about it? And God says nothing. Fall in love with as many people as you like that way. But if you're going to form a lifelong relationship with them, you may want to add a little thought. On the other hand, if you enjoy going through relationships like water, or worse yet, staying in one because you think you have to, then living a life of quiet desperation, if you enjoy repeating these patterns from your past, keep right on doing what you've been doing. God is not going to stop us. He's not going to stop us from being stupid. He's not going to stop us from getting involved in the same damn relationships over and over and over again. I tell everybody, I do not get along with men with the letter M. If you have the letter M as a nickname or on your birth certificate, you and I cannot date. I've even had one guy say, "Oh, you ain't met this letter M." Yeah, I have. And by the way, he's not around. Because even I thought, okay, maybe I haven't. He's not around. Or how about the person that you meet up with, but they need something from you? They need a place to stay, they need a car. So we give them our Mercedes, our BMWs that you worked hard for because you're a nurse and you got yourself educated. But then you sleep with them and then they decide, man, I could stay here forever with you. But he's not working, he's a fucking drug dealer. But you want the trade off of having somebody in your bed with you. And you do fall in love with the fucking drug dealer. I'm not doubting that. But is he using you? So God says, fall in love with as many people as you like. But if you're going to form a lifelong relationship with them, you may want to add a little thought. On the other hand, if you're enjoying going through relationships like water, or yet worse, staying in one because you think you have to, then living a life of quiet desperation, if you enjoy repeating these patterns from your past, keep right on doing what you've been doing. And Neil goes, okay, okay, I get it. You're relentless, aren't you? And God said, that's the problem with truth. The truth is relentless. If you won't leave you alone, it keeps creeping up on you from every side, showing you what's really so. That can be annoying. Okay, Neil says, so I want to find the tools for a long term relationship. And you say entering relationships purposefully is one of them. And God goes, yes. Hold on, guys. And God goes, yes. Be sure you and your mate agree. If you both agree at a conscious level that the purpose of your relationship is to create an opportunity, not an obligation, an opportunity for growth, for full self expression, for lifting your lives to the highest potential, for healing every false thought or small idea you've ever had about you, and for the ultimate reunion with God through the communion of your two souls. If you take the vow instead of the vows you've been, if you take that vow instead of the vows you've been taking, the relationship has begun on a very good note. It's gotten off on the right foot, and that's a very good beginning. And Neil goes, still, it's no guarantee to success. And God says, if you want guarantees in success, then you don't want life. Wow. You want rehearsals for a script that's already been written. Life, by its nature, cannot have guarantees, or its whole purpose is thwarted. Wow. Neil goes, okay, got it. So now I've got my relationship off to this very good start. Now, how do I keep it going? And God says, know and understand that there will be challenges and difficult times. Don't try to avoid them. Welcome them gratefully. See them as grand gifts from God, glorious opportunities to do what you came into the relationship and life to do. Try very hard not to see your partner as the enemy or the opposition during these times. In fact, seek to see no one and nothing as the enemy or even the problem. Cultivate the techniques of seeing all problems as opportunities. Opportunities to, and then Neil goes, I know, be and decide who you really are. And God goes, right, you're getting it. You are getting it. And Neil, once again, who lives a very dunce life, then says to God, sounds like a pretty dull life to me. Well, you know what, Neil? Go bungee jumping. Have great relationships and go bungee jumping if you want excitement. My God, man. Neil goes, sounds like a pretty dull life to me. I wish God would talk to me. I don't know if I would talk to God the same way and then write about it. The disrespect. But God is God, and God accepts Neil as is. I don't, because I am not God. I am annoyed with Neil. But, whoo, child, God is a good God when He accepts all of us with our flaws, and He is patient with all of us with our flaws. And Neil goes, sounds like a pretty dull life to me. And God goes, then you're setting your sights low. Broaden the scope of your horizon. Extend the depth of your vision. See more in you than you think there is to be seen. See more in your partner as well. You will never disserve your relationship nor anyone by seeing more in another than they are showing you. For there is more there, much more. It's only their fear that stops them from showing you. If others notice that you see them as more, they will feel safe to show you what you obviously already see. Do you get that? Do you get that? Let me read that over again. Then you're setting your sights too low, broaden the scope of your horizon, extend the depth of your vision. See more in you than you think there is to be seen. See more in your partner, too. You will never disserve your relationships nor anyone by seeing more in another than they are showing you. But there is more there, much more. It is only their fear that stops them from showing you. If others notice that you see them as more, they will feel safe to show you what you obviously already see. Now, a lot of this happens a lot in my relationships with my spiritual people, right? With my spiritual people, I see their whole potential, right? And so I study my spiritual people, although the book club no longer belongs to me, so I don't study them any longer because I don't have to, because I put myself in a position of student again as opposed to teacher and leader. But when I was teacher and leader, I would study all of my people. Hi, Mr. Dove. Hi, sweetie. I would study all of my people. And in the study of all of my people, I could see their strengths. And for me, it was like neon lights above their heads. And I used to love to see their strengths. I mean, it was probably the best part of doing my job in group meet. It was my favorite thing to sit back and study and watch and see someone's growth. And so I would mention it to them over time, not right away, over time. And I would say to them, I think this is your gift. I'd like you to figure out how to move just in this direction. Because I think this is your true gift. And this could mean angel card reading, it could mean oracle readings, it could mean specific card type of readings. It could be meditation, right? It could be crystals, right? Escribo Gems is amazing at crystals. I did not tell her that's her gift, but I would promote her ability for her gift constantly, um, and so on and so forth. Numbers, tea leaf readings, right? And I used to enjoy that. I used to enjoy pointing out to people what God has shown me. I think it was always surprising when people would say, "Really? Really?" Because they don't even know that they've come to the table with such amazing gifts. Broaden the scope of your horoscopes, extend the depth of your vision. See more in you, see more in you than you think there is to be seen. See more in your partner too. You will never disserve your relationship nor anyone by seeing more in another than they are showing you. For there is more, much more. It's only their fear that stops them from showing you. If others notice that you see them as more, they will be they will feel safe to show you what you obviously already see. People tend to live up to our expectations of them. Oh no, so Neil says people tend to live up to our expectations of them. I thought that was weird. I was like, why would God say that? And God says, something like that. I don't like the word expectations here. Expectations ruin relationships. Let's say that people tend to see themselves what we see in them, the grandeur of our vision, the grandeur their willingness to access and display, the part of them we have always shown them. Isn't that how all truly blessed relationships work? Isn't that part of the healing process, the process by which we give permission to let go of every false thought that they've ever had about themselves? Isn't that what I am doing here in this book for you? Neil says yes. And that is the work of God. The work of the soul is to wake yourself up. The work of God is to wake everybody else up. Let's read that again. Neil says people tend to live up to our expectations of them. And God says, something like that. I don't like the word expectations here. Expectations ruin relationships. Let's say that people tend to see themselves what we see in them. The grandeur of our vision, the grandeur, the willingness to access and display the part of them we have shown them. Isn't that how all truly blessed relationships work? Isn't that part of the healing process, the process by which we give people permission to let go of every false thought that they've had about themselves? Isn't that what I am doing here in this book for you? And Neil says, yes. And that, says God, that is the work of God. The work of the soul is to wake yourselves up. The work of God is to wake everybody else up. I got a headache. That was deep. Did anybody get that? I want to invite anyone that is listening right now to join me for your own personal reading at 213-458-7408. I am open today, and I love being open today. All right, guys, I am going to stop here. I want to encourage everyone to get your rosemary oil, one, and there are candles to purchase, and I am loving the candles, and I just made my health candle and my spirituality candle. I will post them today. Guess what, guys? I love you, and I love you for putting up with me. I am going to end this session because I am going to get some readings done. And then in between the readings, I'm going to do a video on Mace. Mace talked, and I predicted that. I predicted Mace would talk. He had a lot to say. So we're going to dissect every single word. Come join me later. Look out for your feed. But I think I'm probably going to do it around 2 o'clock Eastern. Around 2 o'clock Eastern. Unless I get readings, then the readings come first. But at least you'll know it'll be 2 o'clock or afterwards Eastern. Come join me, guys. This P. Diddy stuff is changing the course of our visions. Let's all get in. Let's all participate. We needed this change. I promise you. I love you guys. I love you so much. Take it easy. Bye.
Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live.